Good evening, everybody. How are you? Good, good. You all smell great. Welcome to our keynote tonight. Thank you for being here with us tonight. And also a big, big thank you to our sponsors. You can see on either side of the stage, Magic Light Pictures, who, yes, you know they've got their second series of Pip and Posy coming out right now. Yes, good. Not just that. Very excited. Set your TiVo, whatever you set at the end of the year, your DVR, because at Christmas time, they're bringing out their Tabby McTat. They're bringing that out at Christmas time on BBC One. So that's really good. So now we know. But thank you very much. Of course, without sponsors and without Greg Charles' personal PayPal account, we would really be a bit tough this whole conference. So we really do thank you, our sponsors. Also, did you know that Magic Light Pictures are celebrating 20 years? 20 years. And so is the CMC celebrating 20 years. Conspiracy? Okay. Tonight's Changemaker. Let's get on with it, shall we? Because I know people have got appointments and dinners and drinks and things. Tonight's Changemaker is extraordinary. It's a bit of a mic drop before he's even hit the stage, because whilst most of us were rummaging around under our stairs to find the last toilet roll during lockdown, he was actually out there raising thousands and thousands of pounds selflessly for charity. He's such a kind guy. He's integrally just thoroughly brilliant and beautiful and amazing human being. And he's so thoughtful that probably he's already reached too high a bar to become Prime Minister. And he's only 13. So it's all a bit frightening, really, for someone at 51. But anyway, here he's with us, and I have to say that I became friends with him. We're now writing a book together about his extraordinary experience. And we'll put a little picture up that I drew to give you a bit of a clue about who we're talking about. You probably got it by now. But anyway, he's truly wonderful. Please will you give a big, warm CMC welcome to our Changemaker tonight. You'll know him as the boy in the tent. It's Max Woosey.
So, hello, I'm Max Woosey. I'm 13 years old, and I live in North Devon. Now, some of you might know me as the boy in the tent, some of you might not. And if you don't, let me put it into context. My neighbour Rick unfortunately died of cancer. But before he died, he gave me a tent and said, Max, I want you to have an adventure in it. And I said, I promise you I will. And now let's skip forward to about COVID time, because I think everyone in this room can remember, well, just how much it sucked. And for me, I was stuck inside with my parents every day, 24/7. And they were driving me absolutely crazy. I cannot explain how much they were driving me crazy. And I had to do what any sensible 13-year-old would do. Oh, 10-year-old. I was 10 back to time, sorry. I had to do what any sensible 10-year-old would do, and I planned my great escape. So I asked my mum if I could camp outside with the tent Rick gave me, and she said no. So I had to ask again and again and again until finally she said yes. And about 2 days later, I asked if I could try and raise money for North Devon Hospice by sleeping outside in the tent Rick gave me. And Mum did what she did best. She said no. So I asked again and again and again until, thankfully, she said yes. And thank God she did, because I ended up sleeping in that tent for 3 years and raising over £780,000, including gift aid. And you know what? It gave me some amazing experiences. I ended up pitching my tent down in 10 Downing Street, being able to camp in London Zoo and Twickenham, and just have an experience as well, just like today. And you know what? They were the best 3 years of my life that I've ever had. But there were quite a few challenges. Like, I do think everyone forgot we live in England. So the tent was either like a greenhouse, and it was 30 degrees and absolutely boiling, or it was like an igloo, and it was -7 and freezing. So just British temperature. And you know what? People always ask me, so why didn't you give up? And I had to say resilience. And then the question people would ask me again is, wow, so you must have really good resilience. And to be truthful, no, I don't. Resilience isn't a thing you're born with or that you're always going to have. It's a thing you have to develop. And for me, I probably learned resilience when I was about that tall. And it was because I had a thing called hypermobility. So it basically meant I couldn't run around, I couldn't walk long distances, and I couldn't even hold a pencil. And I could not tell you how long it took me to learn how to hold a pencil. Because I think if I did, we probably wouldn't be here until next week. And my goal was to try and learn how to become physically and mentally stronger so I could get rid of my hypermobility. And one of the most important things I've learned in life was another thing from hypermobility. And it's a thing called KIT. And it was my almost success criteria. I don't know. It was my way how I measured my success. Because I knew that I was never going to get 100% in my maths tests or become first in my race. So I used KIT as my kind of standard. And KIT stands for kindness, integrity, and trying hard. And for me, they were the most important things when I was a kid. And you know what? They still are to this day. And I hope everyone in this room can take KIT into their lives, because I know it certainly helped me. And at the end of the day, the only thing you can be is the best version of you. And that's why hopefully by using KIT, you can get that little bit closer. So all I want you to remember is kindness, integrity, and trying hard. So thanks so much, and I hope you enjoyed it.
Stand up, man. That's good. Yeah, stand up, dude. Seriously. Yeah. He's that tall and he's 13. Like, buy some more socks soon and trousers soon, I think, Rachel. My goodness, it's incredible, isn't it, what he's achieved, really, at that age. And I think, you know, all of us are in here probably thinking, 13, and look at me now, you know. Like, but what can we achieve in 3 years? What he achieved in 3 years is extraordinary, isn't it? We can all do amazing things in a very short period of time. So now, from one soon-to-be author to a hugely successful one for our 20th anniversary of the CMC, our creative keynote tonight is an extraordinary talent and a fitting one. Our conference, of course, as you know, has always been about championing and growing talent in all areas, and our keynote speaker this evening really reflects that beautifully. Starting as a mere but ardent supporter of the CMC, and then after years, of course, of patient service, and then going on to join our advisory committee. And if that wasn't penance enough, she's also had time to be the author of a hugely successful high-rise mystery series featuring Nick and Norva, and penning many other excellent oeuvres. And she's won the Waterstones Children's Book Prize as well, of course, on top of that. She's got loads of awards at home in her cabinet, and quite rightly so. She's also, you know, if that wasn't enough, an arts curator whose singular talent is engaged with the Tate, the V&A, and also she was the artistic director for the Sight Gallery here in Sheffield. Anyone here from Sheffield? Okay, that's good. We're going so American tonight. There's still so much more to say, but of course, I'm supposed to leave that to the creative speaker because that's the point. So please can you be, well, you don't have to be upstanding, sit down, that's just ridiculous. But she's wonderful and amazing, and use your hands instead to celebrate and give a warm 20th birthday welcome to our creative keynote speaker tonight, Sharna Jackson.
Hi everybody, it's really great to be here. Thank you so much. It's really hard. I feel a bit sick having to follow Max. Like, oh my God, you're amazing and I'm really proud of you. You did a great job. But yeah, I'm Sharna Jackson, and yeah, these days I'm a writer, but you know, like the Beach Boys, I get around. Do you like my portrait? Well, it's really good, isn't it? If you become writers, you too can have a slightly demonic caricature made of yourself and be blasted across the internet. But no, I love it. It's like all my facial insecurities in one iconic pencil drawing. So yeah, this is me. I just want to say hello to all the, how many people here are first-timers to CMC? Welcome, 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 welcome. I promise you the creative keynote is not normally like this. It's very, yeah, we're doing something a little bit special today, but welcome to you. It's a great conference, and I hope you get as much out of it as possible. So, yes, now, what do I actually do these days? Well, like Rick says, I write books, mostly about murder, because kids are really bloodthirsty, and I gotta let them drink. I gotta let them drink. And I write books about mystery and art also. But my biggest book is High Rise Mystery. It's about two young sisters, Nick and Norva, who live on an estate in southeast London, and it's the hottest day of the year, and they follow their notes and their noses to the bins where they find the body of their art teacher, and they have to quickly solve the murder. Yeah, right, innit? They have to quickly solve the murder before their dad gets put in the frame, because it looks like he might have done it. So it's intense. And yes, it did win the Waterstones book prize for younger readers in 2020, which was cool. And there's a second one might drop. And I also managed to live out a dream of mine, which was to do a World Book Day book. So I did that in 1, 2, 3, what is time? World Day book. No, my most recent book is called The Good Turn, and it's set in the town I'm from Luton. And that's where it's set. It's set in a cul-de-sac in Luton. It's 3 kids led by a really precocious girl called Josie, who doesn't feel she gets enough homework or is not stretched enough at school. And she sets up her own scout troop with her neighbours, and they go around doing scouty things, cleaning up gardens, neighbourhoods, etc., etc. But they are drawn to an abandoned factory at the back of the house, and when they get their camping badge and they go inside, everything goes left. But spoiler, it's about a social issue. I don't want to spoil it too much, but it's about a social issue that recently had an anniversary, and it's about putting a human face to problems that we hear about on the news that are a bit intangible. But that's my most recent one. But my favourite one is this, London Lundoff. Someone's laughing. Yeah, it's actually good. How dare you? It was written by me and 1,287 school kids in London. So 1 school per borough across London. We did it together with the South Bank Centre. So it's like an exquisite corpse. I wrote the first sentence and the last sentence, and every school filled in the middle. So it's patchy. It's patchy. but it's good. It's good. Trust me. And so it's about an alien called Colin, who lives on a planet called Veria, and he is sucking the creativity out of London to put in a little trinket to give to his alien parents for their wedding anniversary. So our 2 heroes have to go around London unfreezing and freezing everybody, doing creative things to keep the creativity in the capital. And so, Stormzy's in it, obviously. Ed Sheeran makes an appearance. It's really fun. I love it. The TV rights are available. So, but yeah. I also write games. I do, trust me, I do. I also write games. So I've been in the writer's room and the deputy story lead of a game called Sortsy Chronicles, coming out soon, for a Danish company called De Gute Fabrik. And this is, of course, it's a mystery, otherwise I wouldn't do it. It's a mystery, and it's about a group of people who are working on a ship, and their captain goes missing. And did she leave, or was she abducted? Who knows? So we have to go around lots of islands in this post-flooded world to figure it out. It's really nice. Also, I have an initiative called Ensemble, and I run it with the London Games Festival, and it's to encourage Black and Asian minority ethnic talent in the UK games industry, give them a platform, and to show kids and anybody actually who wants to get into the industry that there are jobs and there is role models for them. So I do this thing every year, pop my little pictures up in Trafalgar Square. Me and Sadiq Khan are obviously like this, so he just lets me do it, and it's nice and it's fine. But I've been doing that for a few years, about 5 years now, and I'll continue to do it until Sadiq says no. But then what did I used to do? So I used to work at Tate, and it's like, wow, so you made a website, woo. But like back when I made this in 2008, it was like a big deal, yeah? It was, when we were making games in Flash, right? Before Flash died, before apps came, someone's clapping like, yay, Flash, bring back Flash, yeah. Yeah, when we made games in Flash, and it was great, and it was really good. And I was one of the first people to make websites like this for art institutions. So it was a bit of a big deal at the time. I know it looks very quaint these days, but it won a Webby, and it got 3 BAFTA nominations. And what was really great, if you see the little videos bit, that video was made with the brothers McLeod. I'm not sure if they're here today. I hope they are, but they're lovely, and I got to meet them at CMC. So it's just an example of the kind of connections you can make. First time with C. Look, magic happened here. So that's one of the things I did. I was also, my main man's at the front, I was the creative director at Hopster between 2013 and 2015. Yeah, thank you. It was really good. So it was like, you know, it was Disney Plus before Disney Plus, but with games. It was really good. I loved it. But, you know, it was 10 years ago, and we had a lot of fun putting it together, working with lots of content owners, making games, doing all kinds of things. A great time in my life. Also, I wrote for him, Mr. LeVar Burton, which was amazing. So LeVar Burton's in Star Trek. The Next Generation is Geordie LaForge, and he also does Reading Rainbow. And I got to write an audio guide for him for a new museum that was opening in LA called The Broad. So wrote lots about Andy Warren and Damien Hirst and all these kinds of things for him. Got to work with him and meet him on Skype, and he was lovely. Yeah, I wish I could work with him again. But also, thanks to Kathy and Greg, I also used to curate the Children's Media Conference Playground exhibition. So that was like a public-facing part of this conference. So children and families from Sheffield could come and play and engage with the latest and cutting-edge games and interactive experiences for kids. And it's definitely coming back in a new guise soon. But what that led to me becoming the artistic director of Sight Gallery, which was nice. And I was there for 2 years, and then I left in the pandemic. Long story. But I've worked for, with, and against loads and loads and loads of different companies, and here are a few of them. Apologies to Magic Light for using your old branding. I didn't notice until I saw your new one, so sorry, guys. I really loved working with you. Don't hold it against me. I'm coming back. But I've done all these things, but there is a question that runs through all of this for me, and it's how do I make media, arts, and culture accessible to diverse and disengaged children and young people who don't see themselves in arts and culture? What can I do to bring them along? How do I say to them, yeah, come on, this is for you, or this is a job that you might want to do later? But like, why do I do it? Why? Because this is me. Thanks. I was well cute though, wasn't I? When I had hair, it was nice. So yeah, I was born in Luton. I was raised on a diet of broken biscuits, to quote Jarvis Cocker, raised by wolves and Beast Sky B. We had the first satellite dish in our street, in Luton, right? In Luton. And my dad said he got it for me because he knew I was into media and culture, but my dad is a liar. And he got it for cricket, obviously. But it was really great because it really opened up my world. I watched, played, read everything when I was growing up. So, unlike last night, David was talking about he didn't see himself in things, or he didn't know things were for him. Was the opposite. I thought I could do anything, and my parents really supported me in doing that. Like we had bookshelves full of books, just watching TV all the time. When I was a little bit older, but I used to watch Rick on Trouble TV all the time. So like when I met him for the first time 5 years ago, I nearly peed my pants. So yeah. But my world was open. My uncle was a drummer. Session drummer. He did like Paul McCartney, George Michael, and the guy from Wet with the Ponytail, and like loads of different people. And my dad's friend was a dancer for Kylie. So like I knew that you could do things. So I was really lucky. But it was around this time that I started writing my own stories, and my first book was in a diary that I had. My parents bought me this diary. My parents, right? Oh, they bought me this diary. Instead of getting me a diary like for young kids with colours and shapes and vibes, right? They bought me like a businessman's journal from W.H. Smith with like a red leather cover, and like I was like, what is this, man? And so there's only so much you could write about your school dinners, especially when you don't take school dinners, and you walk to school when your house is at the back of the school. So it was like, okay, what am I going to write in this book? So I started writing this story, and it's called Nero the Hero, and it's about this guy who would go through space and time and just sorting out arguments and stuff. So he'd go up to space, aliens, getting into it, sort it out. He'd go back in time, T-Rex, pterodactyl in it, sorted it. Great. But what I realised was it was basically Quantum Leap fanfic, But you know, we all have to get our start somewhere, so don't shade me. But like, I've got to say that this was the one thing though that kept me going through my childhood. Like, Labyrinth was absolutely everything to me and still is. And I still actually, seriously, make friends based on people like Labyrinth. Like, if you go to people, you go, you remind me of the Babe, and they know what to say after, then you know that you're like, thank you. Now we're friends. You know? So like, this is it. And I always think about this. I always think about Labyrinth, and I think, my gosh, how lucky and privileged are we to be in the business of making memories? Because we create work that follow our audiences throughout their lives and make such a mark. So we are blessed and lucky, and I take it really, really seriously. That's why I do so much. But I didn't articulate it until I met this lady. You know Julie, of course you know Julie Somerville, iconic newsreader. But we went to the same university, went to University of Sussex, and I was there. I started the TV section of the newspaper, because I didn't have one, and I thought that was rude. So I started it for doing reviews and stuff. And she came in, and I got to interview her, and that was 20 years ago. And she said to me, like, what are you going to do after you graduate? And like, from somewhere in the middle of my gut, like, it just like word vomit just came out. I was like, I want to work with kids TV or kids media. I want to do things for kids. And once I say something, and once it comes out of my body, I have to stick to it. So that it was true, and that's what I do now. So yeah, I'm really grateful to Julia Somerville for coming in that day and helping me to articulate what it is I wanted to do. But anyway, back to now, what are we doing here? How long are you keeping us? So I've got dinner plans. So I've got a really snappily titled presentation for you. It's called 20 Lessons I've Learned Over 20 Years Working for Kids Using 20 CMC Themes as a Starting Point. So it was either this or like lip-syncing The Greatest Love of All for 40 minutes. so like, you're blessed, so like, just deal with it, yeah? Okay, so first one, World Without Schedules. 2004. So this is, again, for first time, I'm really thinking about you, obviously. Being a freelancer is really hard and really tough. And, you know, sometimes I use deadlines as a suggestion rather than something firm. But I realised, you know, I was living in London for a long time, and I couldn't really afford to be there. I don't have parental help in that way. And I was taking on lots of additional jobs to pay extortionate rent. And I needed to make a change. So, you know, I did something really stupid. I went and moved on this boat. So I live in Rotterdam on this ship, Anna Maria, which is not something you want to... It's like, why would you buy a boat if you want peace in your life? It's like the opposite. I've just made a new set of problems for myself. But so I live out in Rotterdam, in the centre of Rotterdam, in Odehaven, on that ship with my son and his dad. But it's good because I've got a bit more time now to really think about what it is I want to do and like actually do things properly and on time. But look, all of the people I've worked with in here can vouch for me. I do deliver, don't I? Okay, so my takeaway is plan your time properly. Fail to plan, plan to fail, man. Also go live on a boat, why not? Be an idiot like me. So the next year, 2005, are we being served? And I think, you know, using we as children here, no, I don't think they are. We all know that there is a lack of representations for kids across all platforms, be it race, class, ability, genders. So what I'm asking you, what I think the takeaway here is think of the children who need it most, I implore you. And I think that's, you know, I think about the kids that grow up in Luton. And it's really hard growing up in Luton because, you know, you've got Andrew Tate running around. Who's the other one? Yaxley, Tommy Robinson, that idiot. And so, like, we are just, like, at a disadvantage from the jump. And there are just so many great things about that town and all the kids that live there. And it's them that I'm thinking about when I do things. So think of those kids, okay? The new gatekeepers, 2006. So this isn't about a gatekeeper. I just want to talk about a hater, someone who's an actual hater who I hate too. So I want to tell you something that happened to me. So when High Rise Mystery came out as 2019, the publishing company, Nights Of, were brand new at the time and brilliant, so that meant they got some press. So the BBC put out an article, which was lovely, on the 17th of April, and I was like, yeah, look at me. Wow, look at me, I'm on the BBC News. It was great. And then, you know what, I started trending. Look, so it's Beyonce, Homecoming, Flint, water crisis, then me. Look, 1, 2, 3, like, that's the closest I'll ever get to Beyonce in my life. I was just like, life is good. I don't care how many books sell now. Like, I've made it. But you know what happened? The racists found me. So Julia Hartley-Brewer started cussing up a storm. Yeah, boo her. Yeah, so she thought, like, oh, well, you know, white characters. So what the BBC did, though, it was a bit naughty, BBC. The original title of the article was White Characters Are the Default in Kids' Books, which is, I believe that's true and it's the case, but that is something, you know, it's a bit, you know, fanning the flames, but they changed it later. But, of course, Jules saw it, so she came for me, and so she sent her racist hordes after me. So they had all this, you know, books in Britain are written for children who read our languages. It's white over here, like, go home, da-da-da-da-da. Yeah, exactly, whack. Anyway, but look what happened. It was number 1. So, yeah, ha on you. So, yeah, go around gatekeepers. Just go around them, like, whatever, Julia, keep it. So, 2007, Ally and Aspire. Every time I was talking to Greg about this, I really feel like saying Ali and AJ. Do you know who Ali and AJ? Every time I see it, I'm like, Ali and Aspire. Yeah. So, again, talking about Luton. So, this is me the other day. I went to Luton Town Football. I went to Kenilworth Road. And I went there to meet kids in Luton and talk about the good turn and everything. And for me, going to schools and being with kids is the absolute best part of the job. But you know what? I went to Luton on the Wednesday, and they got promoted to the Premier League on the Saturday. You know it was me that did it. Oh my God, it's amazing. And yeah, it's important for me to go back and talk to people and encourage people. And on Monday, I went to a festival in Bedford where kids don't read books at all. They don't have reading role models. And, you know, I got to spend the whole day with them, talking to them individually, and it was amazing. It was really brilliant. So, my takeaway for this one is be the change that you want to see in the world. So, like, try and do it. Yeah, I know, it's a bit much. But you can just try and do it. Just try. 2008, Their Space. So this one for me, I think it's, you know, go to children, talk to them. You're working for kids. We should talk to them often, figure out what they like, what are they doing, where are they at. So when I go and meet kids, I lie to them a bit. I say that I play Roblox all the time. I play it like once a week. But they like, I go, oh yeah, do you play murder mystery on Roblox? They're like, yeah, miss, wow. They like, then they're with friends. They're my friends for life. So I go to them and talk to them about their things that they're doing. And I think that really helps us to create a bond together and get them to trust me, because they should. But then 2009, Connect. And I actually sometimes think we should disconnect from kids and ignore them, actually, after all of that. Because why do we even ask kids? What do they know? They're 5. I've been working in this industry for 20 years. I'm not going to go to them and, like, change my story for them. Are they mad? Like, no. So it depends on the day how I feel. If I want to connect to them, I want to connect to them. So, yeah. So anyway, 2010. Now, 2010, new decade, new challenges. Okay, this one's a bit fruity. Okay, so, right, this was a mad year. 2010, February. Gave birth to this one. Well, thanks. He looks like his dad, that's why you're cheering. It's cute. So I gave birth to this one. But then in September, this is my mum, she died. And it was really rough. It was like 6 months between my son being born and my mum dying. And it was like crazy. And I think I kind of like, to put it like politically correctly, I lost it. And then I was working at Tate at the time. And working at Tate was like such a huge part of my like identity. I was like Sharna from Tate. And I could go into any room, and people would like ignore me, and then they go, what do you do? Where are you from? I said, oh, I work at Tate. And you would see like people's like back straight, and they would be like, oh, so you're someone. And it's like, yeah. And then I was like, always like, what would I be if I wasn't Sharna from Tate? Like, how do I stand up without the institutions backing behind me? So it's really hard to, like, I was so enmeshed in that job. I used to call it like my abusive partner, because they would like, they didn't need me. They could get it. People would work for Tate for free. so they could just treat me however they wanted. Oh, God, it's terrible. But you know what? So one day, so after my mum died, bless her, after my mum died, I was looking, like, shopping for, like, funeral clothes, right? In, like, what's that one? TK Maxx. It was something like that. I was poor then. And TK Maxx in, like, Milton Keynes. And I got this email which said, like, oh, don't check. Like, why would you do this? Don't check the new brand guidelines, which means I'm obviously going to check the brand guidelines. And this is, you know, I keep receipts, see? So this is from 2010, and this is from the brand guidelines. And they basically put, like, these massive, well, they weren't massive, they feel massive to me, like, big crosses near two of my, like, internal brands. So we had this new director came in. My boss used to be Will Gompertz, who's now, like, well, I think he's still the arts editor at BBC, but he left, and someone came in. I won't name him, hate him. And he came in and he was just like, oh, your brand's wrong. And I was like, what do you mean my brand's wrong? I'm a triple BAFTA nominee. What do you mean? Like, we've had, you know, 6,000 unique people come to this website from zero. What do you mean? It's not wrong. Anyway, I was really, really mad about this. So anyway, so like I said, it was the BAFTAs that year. And this is 2010 BAFTAs. And I didn't win any of my BAFTAs, but whatever. But what I did do, I met someone there, and it got, like, heavy, like, very sexy, shall I say. So there was like public display of affection. It was very, very. It was giving behind the bike sheds, in public. You know, like when dogs meet each other, they do that. And it was like that. It was really, really, really disgusting. I have to admit. But I didn't care. I was thought, oh, do you know what? I'm at the BAFTAs. My mum's just died. Who gives a shit? And I was, like, going crazy. And then I was going home later that evening, and I was texting my friends laughing about what happened. And I went on Twitter, and I saw this tweet from Sharon Horgan. She said, there's a lot of sluts tonight at the kids' BAFTAs. And you know what? I took it personally. And I think about it every day for the last 13 years. So my advice, my takeaway is go to therapy. Like, go to therapy. Go to therapy and do your slut business in private, in case you feel like Sharon Horgan is judging you for, like, 10 years. But I'm over it. I'm not over it. I'll never be over it. But and yeah, sorry to that person, but yeah, it was funny. So yeah, 2011, thinking differently. So I want to go back to High Rise Mystery for a second. High Rise Mystery. High Rise Mystery featured in Top Boy. And when it got featured in Top Boy, this was the only time my son ever acknowledged my success. So he was like, oh shit, you're in Top Boy, because they're tweeting, texting his friends, because he's like, oh, great, your job. But what I want to talk about was changing, the twisting things, really. So if you're, like, thinking of ideas and you're looking for something to do, like, think of something established and twist things. So with High Rise Mystery is about, well, what I wanted to do with it was, okay, I loved murder mysteries when I was growing up. It's something that me and my mum used to do together, reading, watching. She was, like, so into Sherlock Holmes, but, like, Jeremy Brett only. Like, she would not stand for Cumberbatch. Like, she'd come out of that grave and, like, she would not have it. So she was, like, super, like, into it. And when I was making High Rise Mystery, I was thinking, okay, what do I love about mysteries? All these things. But what if I changed a few things about it? Okay, so what if instead of being, like, white, rich, posh men detectives, it could be black, girl, young, poor detectives. And instead of it being on a country estate, it could be on a council estate. And instead of it being set in the past, it could be set contemporary. And boom, there was High Rise Mystery. So there you go. All you need to do is twist some things around, and you too can win the Waterstones Prize. There you go. Easy. Do the twist, and there you go. Success. 2012, ahead of the game. And yeah, I think Rick was very generous, saying, you know, I did all these things. But how I did it was by being, like, kind of a pest and kind of into everything. So I would read everything, C21, Kidscreen, subscribe to everything, the CMC newsletter. If I was or I was in London at the time, I'd go to things, but now things are on webinars, go to things, track trends, see. Mark Goodchild's, there he is, Mark Goodchild's in here. I used to want his job really badly, so I would just like watch everything that he did, and like, oh, Mark Goodchild, and if I saw him, so I was like, oh, hello, Mark, like, what's the latest? Like, find yourself like an industry role model, and like, maybe you can approach them, but see who's out there and just make friends and like keep on top of it. Keep on top of what's going on and who's doing what, and then you can like step in there and about. So 2013, are we there yet? So I guess this was a 10-year reflection of CMC, and the answer is obviously no, because who we are and where there is constantly changing. So yeah, no, and I don't think we'll ever get there, but I don't know if I want us to get where there is. Well, no, I don't know what I even mean by that. Of course, I want like world peace and I want everyone to be happy, but I think we always need to strive is what I'm getting at with children's media. We always need to be pushing boundaries and making sure that we're including everybody that we can include. So there is no there, and we are changing all the time. Okay, 2014, Child at Heart. So this is yeah, this is a bit mean maybe. And I think this one's particular to children's authors, because sometimes I go to things and I see children's authors, and they're always like, well, not always, this is so untrue, this is a bit unfair, but they sometimes do this like, this act for children, like, oh, hello kids, and all like this kind of things. And I think children can smell a rat. If you're like, so don't be a rat, be authentic, and yeah, that's my takeaway. If you're in children's media, you don't have to act like a child. And it's funny, people do think you're a child sometimes. Like, I remember my son's mum, my son's mum, that's me, hey. Not her, it wasn't me. My son's dad's mum, she bought me a Charlie and Lola lunchbox when I was 32. I was like, what, you could get me a candle or gloves or nothing. Like, don't get me a child. I mean, I love Charlie and Lola, but I don't really want a lunchbox. I'm not going anywhere. So it was very weird, that kind of like, oh, you're into children's things, so like it. Like, no, I'm still an adult. My God, like, please. Okay, 2015, all changed. So I would say that skills are transferable, right? So yes, I move across jobs. I move to art. So sometimes I come and do like, yeah, some TV things, or I do my books. But there are some things to me that I always keep core, and I've got like 4 pillars for my job. So it's like, it's got to be for kids or for young people. It could be about culture. It's got to have some digital or some innovation in it somewhere. So because I get offered projects quite often, I always like check it against that criteria. Like, what is it? Is it going to do something for me? And so don't be afraid of change, I think. But figure out what your core values are for you, and then take those and move it across jobs. And I think it doesn't feel like switching and changing and jumping around if you're true to yourself and you know what it is you're moving for. Okay. 2016, making it happen. So how do I make it happen? How do I do all these things? Well, I don't clean my house. I live with my son's dad, and he is basically a legend who does everything for me. He enables me to do so. So I'm very lucky that I have like basically a carer who looks after me, so I'm able to do lots of things. But I call him a wag. I'm like, you're a book. Yeah, it's nice, isn't it? It's bitchy. You're like, hey, book wag. And but he's not a wag. He's like so good to me, and that's how I do it. But I also have the JFDI. I just effing do it. But I have this amazing support system, and then this may be a bit morbid as well. So I apologise for this, but I think maybe since my mum died, she was 51 when she died. She's quite young. I'm going to die one day. But since I'm going to die, I might as well do something good while I'm here. Like, might as well do it. Like, no, we're going to be dead, so do it. So don't hold yourself back from doing things. Just do it. Just do it. What's the worst that can happen? Someone can laugh at you. So what? Who are they? Just do it. Just doing. I sound like that Shia LaBeouf meme. Just do it. Just do it. Just do it. Sorry, I didn't even want to think about him, but now I am. So now you are too. Sorry. So 2017 is open. Yeah, and be open. Be open to things, embrace things. And Kathy, the director of CMC, she told me a phrase that I always think of, always keep with me, carry it my whole life, and it's control the controllable. So when we're doing things, I'm freaking out. She's like, control the controllable, man. If it's out of your area, like, just let it go. Do all you can do. So be open and embrace change to a degree. You can do it. It's fine. Nothing bad's going to happen. So I say that. What's next, 2018? Well, I am worried about some things. I am actually, for somebody who's like really into digital and tech, I may be surprised for you to hear that I'm really, well, I'm probably not, of course. I'm not into this AI business at all. I think it's AI and Mid-Journey, like, do one. And seriously, like, who is writing the algorithms? We can't trust those people. They are going to be spitting out some racist nonsense, classist bullshit. We shouldn't be entertaining it. Don't feed those machines. Why are we doing ourselves out of jobs? Loads of us are creatives here. We barely get paid. Why would you give your ideas to a machine to take over your job? Like, be serious. Be serious about it. Do you want to be jobless? Do you want lackluster products to be out there and available for kids? Come on now. Don't play with it. Leave it. Let it die. So be cynical. Be cynical and question things. But thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad you agree with me. I was worried about that. So, yeah. 2019, limitless. So, again, it's never too late to do things. It's never too late to do things. Learning is for life. And you know Mallory Blackman is, right? Of course. So she's a massive inspiration to me. And I've got this little group, and she's in it. It's like me, Patrice Lawrence, Alex Well, Dapo Diallo. We're in this little gang. And I call them up and I'm just crying all the time. I'm flopping, help me. But what she told me is that she learns something new every year. She takes a new course every single year, whether it's learning Japanese, learning an instrument. She's like, I'm going to learn to be a professional screenwriter. She just does something. She does it. She's like, it keeps me active, my mind alive, and my mind fresh. So, yeah, learning is for life. Don't hold yourself back by going, oh, well, I'm in my 40s now. I've missed the boat. No, you haven't. Swim for it. Get on it. Climb up that ladder. It's not too late, and it's not too early either. Just do things. JFDI, Shia LaBeouf. Just still here right now. So I know from 2020, this was actually right here, right now. But CMC had to go virtual only. And they were, there was, talk of not doing it for an entire year, but because the advisory committee knows how important the CMC is to all the delegates and the people in the industry here, we really pushed ahead and went digital. So kudos to CMC for really making it happen. It was really good, actually, digital CMC. I'm not saying it was, I love being in person, but it was really good. It's really slick. Not that's a surprise. You were all very professional. But it was really, really good. But for me, I'm still here right now. I think it's important to be still, actually, and like take a breath and check in with yourself on like the work and the things that you do. So like, I like to think about what I've done, because yeah, like I say, I feel like I'm in like my flop era. I feel I'm coming out of my flop era. So I was really struggling the last year. I wrote an entire book last year, and I finished it, and I was like, wait, this book's not very good. And this book it's really, really sad. And actually, I don't want to put it out. So I gave it, had these big chats with the publisher about it, and I've rewritten something else, which is nice. But yeah, it spun me because I was like, wow, am I a flop? Am I flopping? But it's like, you know what? No. And what does that even mean? It's like, we do our work, we do good work. Take a minute to appreciate the good work that you do, rather than be chasing the new things. And I think a lot with publishing as well, and probably all of our jobs, we think so far in the future. Like I'm thinking about books coming out in 2026. So I'm always thinking about the next thing rather than going, okay, that was good, that was fine. Do you know what I mean? So just rest a minute. Just be easy. All right. 2021, we're nearly there, guys. 2021, whew, 2021 together. So for me, this is being grateful to all the people I've met at CMC and to CMC themselves. So massive thank you to Greg and Kathy and Darren, Matt Steele. I call Matt Steele, like his whole name. So sorry, apologies, Matt Steele. I love him very much. Lauren and Jackie and everybody at CMC. CMC has been integral to my career, my sanity, all my connections. I'm very, very grateful. And there's also, in my head, I don't know if anybody else does it, like call people like, oh, that sounds really rude, but like give people names in your head or groups of people that you know. I've got this group called the 4Ds in my head. And the first D is Daniel Anthony, and that's my son's dad. There's not a picture of him because he would kill me. But imagine like a shaved-headed Justin Timberlake, but 50. That's what he looks like. So shout out to Daniel Anthony for being my carer. The second person I want to shout out, my second D, is Dapo Adiola. So this is Dapo. He is an illustrator and author. And we worked on London and London together, and that's how we met. And he is such an inspiration to me and such a support. And it's really nice to have friends who are working on the same kind of things as you, so you can share experiences. And yeah, he's always there. He's one of those people you text and he rings you back. So sometimes you're like, no, don't ring me. But don't ring me. But he just rings you straight away, like, yo, yo, yo. And you're like, yeah. So he's great. I love him. My second D is a bit of a cheat because it's two people and they both don't begin with D. It's Mr. Dom Mears and Juliette Zabar from Brighton Zoo. Love them very much. And I have to apologise to Dom because I do have this habit of like leaving him podcast-length voice notes in WhatsApp where I just go, so what if there were like 5 dogs, yeah, and then there was one dog and it was like black and white, and then that dog like drowned and then they came back to life. And he's just like, what? And he's busy doing his like animation direction jobs, but then we'll find time to come on a FaceTime with me and actually like talk it out. So thank you for being a friend. Travel down the road and back again. Golden girls. So thank you to you. And also to Dee Stevens. Dee Stevens. Where are you, Dee? Okay. Sorry. I owe so much to Dee. They are responsible for my pivot to books. Dee was the co-founder of Nights Of. And they are the one that really made this happen for me. And Dee and their partner Robin, who's a famous author, not me, like properly famous author, have been so incredibly supportive to me. And I thank Dee for everything that you've done. Thank you, Dee. So, my takeaway is find your family. Find your family, people that you can really talk to and like, not like bitch with, but yeah, kind of bitch with, man. And like you can be completely real with and talk to and just be like, you can come home. You know when you come home and you're like, no, I won't say that. So you can come home and you take your bra off and you're like, ah. That's like, they're those kinds of friends that you can be really real with. Nearly there, guys, one more. So what's next? 2.2. So this is what I'm doing next, okay? I'll be really quick. This is a few things. There's more than this, but, listen. So Charlie's 12. This is a short horror story I've written. Think Wicker Man, Midsummer meets Mean Girls. That's my story. August 2023. I don't know what day, but August. Saltsy Chronicles. PlayStation 5, Switch, and Steam. Autumn 2023. My new book, The 9-Night Mystery. May 2nd, 2024. Haha, 79,000. Do you know that is double what I needed to write, and I actually wrote nothing good. So I'm in real trouble with this book, but it'll be coming on May 2nd anyway. So there you go. And my last thing, which I'm really excited about, I'm doing a little Nepo baby thing. So I am writing a book with my brothers. So my brothers are really very talented. So one of my brothers is a journalist, but he's like the head of PR for like banks and insurance companies. He regrets it. And he sometimes like pops up on BBC News if like there's a storm and a tree falls down and you talk about insurance claims. That's him. That's that guy. So he does that. And my other brother's an illustrator and he actually worked at Hopster with me. So we're going to do a book together. And because I live on this boat, we're going to do a book about what lies beneath the surface of the water, hence my Jaws gif. So yes, that's coming. I've got to do that in 1 week. I made the mistake of telling my agent, and she's like, yeah, I love it. So we're doing that this week. In stores 2025. Yeah, so that's cool. But that's it. I'm nearly done. All I want to say is my biggest takeaway is to just do things. Just try them. Thank you, everybody. But before I go, I just want to say happy 20th birthday to CMC, and I hope that you have 20 more. Thank you so much, everybody.
That's brilliant. That's so good. Sharna Jackson, everybody. That's so good. That's so good. Oh my God. That's one of the best talks I've seen in a long time. I think you probably agree, right? I mean, it's just so visceral from the heart, and it's just so nice to hear your stories told in that way, rather than it being, you know, a dry PowerPoint. It's so beautiful. Thanks for sharing your life with us.
That's all right.
We've got some time for some questions before everybody wants to go and get drunk. I mean, go and do some serious expenses of their business conversations. So if you'd like to Slido me, which sounds rude, CMC 2023 or 2023. So you can Slido me here, and I believe that I will see the pictures on this magic iPad, which is cool. But we do have, actually, we have some mics in the audience and up there as well in the cheap seats. So we should be able to, you know, pick you up. So Chloe's in the corner over here, and I think Nora's in the corner. So any questions for Sharna right now? Anybody like to kick it off? Man down the front here. Here you go. Thanks, Nora.
Andrew Simpson. I took pictures of everything. I ran out of battery and all sorts. So can I have the slideshow?
Yeah, of course. Of course you can.
No, I love your phrase. Just do it. That's great. I'll take that home.
Do.
And also, thank you for giving permission. As a soon-to-be 41, I'm looking to pivot and do the Lammy library thing. As someone who's on the older end compared to these younger generation, have you any advice at all for someone who's like had their flop part of their life and they're trying to come out of it?
Yeah. Okay. So the flop era is past now. That's behind you, that's above you, it's beyond you. It doesn't matter, we don't acknowledge that anymore. We just keep it pushing, we keep going forward. And you can do this, like you can turn it around. You just really focus on your project, what's good about your project, and talking to people and spreading the word about what it is you're trying to do and what you're trying to do with it. But you really need to just believe in it truly. And I think when you believe in something, I sound like a motivational speaker. But when you believe in something...
You ain't Tony.
yeah, Tony Robinson.
Keep it real.
Thank you. But when you believe in something in your gut, I think it shows through when you truly are genuinely into it. So as long as you really believe in your idea and you start talking to the right people, it's fine. It doesn't matter that you're 41. Who gives a shit? Whatever. It doesn't matter. We're still young. We still
just
look
know what I'm
cute.
doing, that's all.
You just don't know what you're doing.
I know what I'm doing.
Exactly, but that's good, right? Exactly. You know what you're doing. We've got experience. Just keep working at it. Keep pushing.
Well, thank you. You're a real inspiration.
Oh, that's really kind of you to say. Thank you.
So Slido, CMC 2023. Magic iPad isn't getting anything just yet. But any other questions out there right now? Lots of hands. That's good. A couple of hands anyway. Down here at the front, Nora. Perhaps and in the middle there as well. Thanks.
Hey, Sharna.
Hey.
I will be a debut children's author next year.
Amazing.
And I just wanted to, one, congratulate you for a fantastic few years and amazing books, but also just kind of ask how you've maintained like creativity and motivation. I'm already kind of finding it difficult working on the second book right now.
Yeah.
Comparing to the first and like, do I actually have this and stuff? Like, do you maintain basically? Yeah,
it's really hard. Like, I cry a lot. I do. I cry a lot. Like, I think like people think a lot of it is glamorous, and I talk about I live on my boat and I live in the centre of Rotterdam, but I sit in that boat and I cry. My favourite thing to do is I like to go in my bed and I like liquids, right? So I don't mean alcohol. I mean like fizzy water, juice, and I have all my mint tea and I have all my liquids, and I do the New York Times crossword, Wordle, and spelling bee. And I do those, drink my liquids, and then that's kind of the way I refresh myself, and then I give myself a break and then look back at it. But I agree with you. My second book was Mic Drop, and Dee's in the room. So Mic Drop was hard for me. I was like, yeah, like, can I do this again? Maybe I should have only written one book and I could have been one of those persons. Like, my big dream, right, was to do one thing once that paid me forever. Like, what I really wanted to do was, like, write a Christmas song or, like, or write a song for an occasion and then just, like, be, like, the Mariah Carey of it. Do you know what I mean? So that's why I do worry about it. So you're not alone in thinking, like, oh, my gosh, like, what am I doing? But what you have to do is take breaks. You have to take breaks, and so you can refresh. And people think, oh, well, you're not doing anything, but writing is so taxing and filled with so much self-doubt. And yes, there's a big, well, it depends on your publisher, but there's publishing, you've got agents with you and everything, but it is a big part of it where you're just alone writing these things. So, give yourself a break, have patience, and maybe find other authors. You can join my gang, that's fine. I'll let you in, but yeah, that's fine. You come in. We bring in new authors all the time. Like, find people who are working on the same things as you, and when you see that you're not alone, it really does help you.
Thanks so much.
Thanks for the question. Do you write for 2 hours a day or 3 hours a day, or what do you do?
No.
Any routines on that, or no?
No, man.
No?
I don't. No. So in my mind, I'm like, okay. Every time I start a new book, I think I'm going to be a new person, yeah? I'm going to grow up and be mature. I'm going to do 1,000 words. It never works. I do nothing until the last week. Then I write... and then I write 40,000 words a day,
Honesty.
like this.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not going to lie. I can't lie. And when I go and talk to kids, and I tell them the truth as well, because I want them to know what it's really like for me. It's not this glamorous, easy, oh, I go for a swim, and then I do a thing, and then I eat a pineapple. No, I don't. I lie down and I do the crossword and cry, and then I open the document, write a sentence, close the laptop, shout.
Most of us can relate to that.
Yeah, it's not cute all the time.
There's a question over here, this gentleman over there, the white hat.
Hi, good evening. Thank you so much for an awesome talk. My name's Steve Rock. I'm a writer and a dreamer. And do you like pineapples? That's not my question. The real question is, what do you do? What do you believe with regards to writer's block? What's your process and thinking around that?
Yeah, so I think do I believe in writer's block? Yeah, I think what writer's block is exhaustion. Is exhaustion and overtaxing yourself. And I think it does happen when you're like close to a deadline, you've got people depending on you. Like, it sounds like cheesy, but my favourite thing to do is, because I live near water, I need that water like moving around me. So in Rotterdam there are 2 bridges near my boat, and I go and walk around the bridges. I feel like a walk really helps, and like a podcast like voice note to the Dom or something, and just like, oh, this is the problem, or oh, this sucks, and then he'll just go, well, it's not a problem, and then it starts to break it down. But yeah, it's a thing. But you need to you have to take breaks. You need to be away from it. Even just like, I go my crosswords, but when I do my crossword, and I go away from it, and I come back, I know all the answers because I haven't looked at it so hard for like 5 minutes. It's definitely about making sure that you take rest and go and do something. Just go do something else. Watch a film, go to the cinema, go on the Xbox, do something else, and come back to it, and that starts helping to break it down.
Good. Any other questions for Sharna? There's a person here, and anybody up there, by the way, put your hand up because I can see. Thank you. There's somebody up there. So, Eve, if you'd like to get the mic up there for the next question. Yeah, go ahead. Oh, where are you?
What?
Sorry, that was what happened to the mic there? There we go. Thanks. Thanks, Nora. Thank you very much. You can always just shout.
I can wait. It's okay. I don't mind.
Yeah.
My name's Alex. I'm a student at the moment at University of Hertfordshire, so I'm training to kind of go into the children's media industry, sort of like racial diversity, inclusivity, that whole thing. So my question is, how do you find authenticity in your voice and through your characters, even when those experiences don't necessarily reflect exactly your upbringing? How do you still find a way to embed truth from your life?
Yeah, I know what you mean. So a lot of research, a lot of talking to people, like looking back at the things I do, but also there are some stories that aren't for me to write as well. So I'm not going to write a story about Chinese immigrants because, well, how dare I? That's for Chinese people to write. So I write stories that I know that are right for me. But even within that, yeah, I do research. I go back and ask my parents things. So in The Good Turn, a lot of that book is actually, spoiler alert, about Windrush. So lots of research about people who went through that. lots of like talking to my own dad, who was like kind of out of that era, but still affected by it. So it's lots of research, like active research. Not, and I don't mean like, oh, doing a quick Google. It's like, oh, okay, like go and find some people and talk to them. And I think that's what's so good about being a writer, because your every day can be really different. You go, right, I'm going to interview someone. So I'm writing a book that's coming out, 2026. It's called, I'm going to tell you what it is, I don't care. It's called The Brownstone Mystery. And it's about a murder that happened in the brownstone in New York. And so I went to New York last summer and like did all the research for it. And I found the perfect brownstone, got in touch with the owners, like interviewed them, paid them to interview them over Skype, and just like really got into it. Because it would be such a disservice for me to just like, oh yeah, so it's a brownstone, and yeah, some Americans live there. And do you know what I mean? It's like, okay, how did you get the house, and what was it used to be, and like who had it, and like, what does it mean to your family, and da da da. So yeah, like use your interview skills and really get out there. But yeah, be mindful of like the things you write. Maybe you need to let the door be open for somebody else.
And I have to be mindful of the time. Thank you for a great question. Please, ladies and gentlemen, we have to thank our two great speakers tonight. First of all, can we bring our Changemaker up on the stage? Max Woosey. I think Marion's got something nice for you as a gift, something like that. So, Marion, do you want to come up and bring a gift? Thank you so much. I hope to God it's not a tent, otherwise you're going to be in a tent for another 3 years. So, thank you, Marion. And also to our great keynote speaker tonight, Sharna Jackson. Thanks, Marion. Thank you very much. I know everyone's got somewhere to go. It is the 20th anniversary of the CMC, and it would be totally remiss of me not to actually mention really important people. Anna Hume, of course, she's not here tonight, but she's one of the founding members of all of this madness that we've enjoyed every year for 20 years. Kathy Louiso, and also, of course, Jackie Wells and Darren, all the guys, but, you know, some of them are here tonight, I think Jackie's here. But, and I'm probably going to get fired for saying this to Greg anyway, but please could we just, Greg, if wherever you are, can you stand up, please? Can you stand up and just, no, you know. Oh, it's not. Oh, that's. Oh, there he is. Thank you, Greg. Thank you. But, you know, he gives so much, but he takes so little. And I just think also, if you think about the magical stories and media, and also there's Kathy there, I think. Is that right with you? Yes, Kathy's there. Hello. There you go. And everybody who can't be here. But I mean, the amazing stories that have been created in this place, you know, wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for this. So thank you very, very much to the wonderful guys who created the CMC. Right, just a bit of business quickly. Tonight, the CMC's 20th anniversary party sponsored by Fudge Animation Studios. There will be dancing, karaoke, and popcorn. No fudge? Okay. So that's at the Crystal Bar at 10 p.m. tonight. So please do that. And tomorrow morning, we're back here at 9:30. Fit, it says here, fit, fresh, and raring to go for Animation Assemble, which is our regular review, of course, of the animation industry. Or if you are keen to polish your pitches, or even polish your pitches, then, you know, we're trying to represent everybody. Then there's the Art of Pitching at 9:40 a.m. tomorrow morning. And yeah, okay, so ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much indeed for coming, everybody for coming. And time for you to go off and make some expenses with your drinks. Thank you very much to Sharna. Thank you very much to Max Woosey. I'm Rick Adams. Good night, and have a great time and a great CMC.